Welcome to Fran Opps, powered by Business Alliance Incorporated. This is the podcast where entrepreneurs and business owners come to explore the world of franchising with clarity and confidence. Hosted by franchise consultant Jared Nassif, we're here to help you discover the right franchise opportunities, avoid common pitfalls, and build a business you're proud of.
Hey, elite entrepreneurs and empire builders, welcome to the greatest group on Facebook. I've been waiting for several weeks to get this brand and this CEO inside this group. This is going to be a good one. So enjoy, write your questions inside the chat. This is the beauty of doing it live, is I get to ask the CEO your questions live on air. So, man, what an opportunity we have. But here today, we are going to talk to a brand called 76 Fence. This is a fencing company, not like sword fighting, although that would be cool. No, they install and repair fences, which is really a significant need. And we'll talk about that more, why that is, that this is not like just like your luxury brand, but it's very much an essential brand, especially living where I live. I'm in Des Moines, Iowa. And I know a lot of you, that's a flyover state. You don't even know where that is. You probably think that that's the same as Idaho or Ohio. It's not. Des Moines, Iowa, we're in the Midwest, so we get tornado after tornado. And as they come through, man, I tell you what, fences get ripped out all the time and are in need of repair or just a new fence altogether. So this is a big deal. Maybe for you, there's a need for putting in a fence because you just moved to this new house and you have a dog and you got to put in a fence. Or maybe it's just for privacy's sake or security's sake. There's so many reasons why people need this company. And the truth is, of the 350 different brands that we have in our portfolio, like that's a lot of brands. Of the 350 brands that we consult for, we work with, I think this might be the only fence company. There might be one other, but my point is there's virtually no competition here. And so this is a great opportunity. We're going to dive into that. 76 Fence really does put a genuine focus on high quality American made materials. And they kind of do this like white glove customer service approach as well. And so it's going to be good. We're going to talk about their training for you, their ongoing support once you're post-launch. We're going to talk about some of the marketing. We're going to talk about the ongoing operations system. We're going to talk about their territories and how they're protected for you. We're going to talk about the different options for ownership, that there's not just a one size fits all, but depending on who you are and the kind of level of entrepreneur and business acumen that you bring to the table, we're going to look at a couple different options for you. None other than Ed Samane, the CEO of 76 Fence. He's actually coming with over 20 years of experience in the franchising industry. He's the CEO of NextFran and FranchiseYourBusiness.com. He actually has been a big part of developing a number of different brands, especially like a big one, Pro Martial Arts, if you're familiar with that at all. A big part of developing that company. He's even in martial arts, he's really well known. He's a national speaker in martial arts. He is a grand master and nationally recognized self-defense expert. He has 3 black belts in different kinds of martial arts, and he's certified in Krav Maga. Who better to install your fence for defense than this man himself? And so I'm excited to bring him in and get to know him and share about his story and his brand, his company with you elite entrepreneurs. So without further ado, here is 76 Fence. Ed, my man, how are you today? It's good to see you. Welcome to the Franchise Opportunities for Elite Entrepreneurs Facebook group, my friend.
I'm doing excellent, Jared. Thank you for having me on today.
Let's talk a little bit about, I don't actually know a ton about 76 Fence, so I'm going to learn a whole lot from you as well today. So if we could, let's just start with you and a little bit of your story, though. Tell us how you got to where you are today.
Well, just like most people in franchising, you kind of stumble into it.
Yeah, that seems to be the case.
Yes. They don't have a lot of programs at college or university to teach franchising, at least not at this point. And it's such a powerful, segment of business. They really should. So I ran a chain of martial arts schools, and somebody had approached me about an opportunity to purchase a fitness franchise at that point. It was called LA Boxing. This is going back to the mid 2000s. Okay. And what happened was I looked over their FDD, and then I looked at their numbers, and I said, well, my numbers are substantially better. So then they said, well, maybe we can franchise you. And they came out and they met with me, and thus we franchised Pro Martial Arts, which led me to franchising several other brands, into the future. But it was by accident.
Tell us then about your newest endeavor here with 76 Fence. Very simply, what is it and what does it do?
Well, let me tell you, this is probably the most exciting opportunity that I've been involved with up to date. I mean, 76 Fence at its heart is a marketing and sales opportunity. Our franchisees will never install a fence. The great part about fencing is it's a need. It's an evergreen space with very little competition, and the average transaction value is relatively high, $8,000 plus. So from that perspective, the franchisee's perspective, it's excellent. You know, the way our model is set up, we can be anywhere from owner operator to you could scale to a very large empire builder with our regional developer model.
We're going to talk a little bit about the different kinds of ownership, because did you list 3 of them there for us?
We have 3 models. We have the owner operator, part-time model, which is semi-absentee, and the regional developer, which is essentially a sub-franchisor within our system.
Okay, gotcha. And we can talk about that too in a little bit. But with that, then what kind of owner are you looking for? Because it sounds like you're probably looking for different kinds of owners.
Yeah, I mean, we're really looking for people that are committed to excellent customer service and customer experience for the people that we install fences for, but we're looking for business people with business acumen. We can teach the technical part of it, but like I said, they're never really going to install fences, but they will manage a team, and they will need to understand some financial parts of the business.
Okay, so that makes sense. So do they need to necessarily have owned a business prior or have ownership experience?
No, we're not looking for that. I mean, if they've worked for a corporation and they're transitioning out of that, or they've had a small business, or, they could be somebody that comes out of a college program, or any type of experience that could be quote unquote small business or business experience.
Okay, gotcha. That makes sense. So with that, then, could you tell me this? Is now the right time? And I'm just going to assume the answer is yes, but why is now the right time to invest into either 76 Fence or a fence company as a whole?
If they want to invest, they should invest in 76 because we have a better model than any of our competitors, and we can get into that later. Fencing is where they want to be. And the reason is everybody needs a fence. I mean, or everybody needs a fence replaced. It provides safety, protection, keeps their pets safe, keeps their children safe. If they have a pool, whatever it may be for residential. And of course, there's commercial and small business applications. People want their trash cans enclosed or their property fenced. I mean, there's so many applications for fencing and so many types. The opportunity is endless. We like to start our franchisees on the residential path. I would say we're built for about 80 to 90% residential, and then small commercial, small business.
Okay. Small commercial. Okay. Gotcha. Good. What are, I know that you're fairly new. Can you tell us a little bit about where you're at today as a company, and really how do you know that you are currently being successful? What are some of the measurements or even metrics that you're using to identify 76 Fence is being successful?
Well, at the unit level, of course, we have KPIs. We look at our closing ratios based the marketing dollars we spend, the closing ratios on those marketing dollars, customer satisfaction, customer reviews on Google, referrals. These are all things we look at the consumer level. At the corporate level, we're looking at how we're tracking. For a young brand, we launched the franchisor in January of this year. As of today, we've sold 2 regional developers, one for the state of North Carolina. They've opened 2 units. We have Tennessee opening, Atlanta coming on board soon, as well as prime units opening in these markets as well. So I expect this year to be at about 30 plus locations in development. Year one.
That's incredible for year one. I know a number of brands that I've worked with that, I mean, it takes a full year just to get one franchisee under their belt. And so that's a pretty incredible growth, I would say.
Well, we have a very strong development team with Rhino 7 and our operations team. I mean, the gentleman, our COO, was vice president of Annie Ann's Pretzels. He had 1,300 units underneath him. So we built a very strong support and development team.
Gotcha. Okay, so Rhino 7, can you tell a little bit about them at all? I don't know if we've ever talked about them inside this group.
Sure. Rhino 7 is one of the top 3 or 4 franchise development firms in the country, they only work with the best of the best. They typically take on brands that have the potential to become a national player within their specific vertical. They have strict financial requirements, strict operational support requirements for the ZOR to make sure they have the infrastructure to support growth, to maintain happy franchisees, thus maintaining happy customers.
Yeah, they've worked with some big brands too, like QC Kinetics, and has really helped, like you said, make them a national player. And so I'm excited for 76 Fence and that relationship there too. So let's say someone's watching, they're excited about this. They've looked at 20 different kinds of home service brands, but Fences is different. They like the margin, they like the price point on with what you said. They like the support system. They like the opportunity. There's so much white space territories available right now for them. So they like all this. What does the process then look like for them to become an owner with 76 Fence?
Well, the first thing they would do, they would either work through a consultant like yourself. And when they get an introduction from a consultant, of course, they get VIP treatment to put to the front of the line versus going direct. But they can go direct to our website. But I will always encourage working with a consultant because you can help them, guide them through the process, make it much smoother. But they have to register themselves with us. And then one of our partners at Rhino 7 will get in touch with them and take them through the steps of our investigation process. Our investigation is roughly 60 to 90 days to make sure there's a mutual fit. And, they match our core values and our vision, and we're aligned because we truly look at our franchisees as family. So we want to make sure that they're a fit and we're aligned. It's not just about selling a franchise. It's about building a franchise family to us at 76.
I love that. That's exactly it. And I think what you said there too about a mutual fit is so key and so critical in franchising. I zone in on this all the time on these Fran Opps lives and with the clients I work with, that the franchise name, the franchise brand is great. It's helpful. But even more important than that is the franchise fit, is making sure that this is a good fit for you. And likewise, you are a good fit for them. Because just like when you start talking to a brand like 76 Fence, and you're going to start trying to do your research and discover if this is the right fit for you. And I'm going to tell you up front, they're going to do the exact same thing. And from day one, they're going to be trying to determine, is this someone that we want to bring into our family? Like Ed just said, it's a family. And you're not going to let anybody in your family. That culture is such a big deal.
Absolutely. You're absolutely correct. This is like a marriage. We have to make sure franchises are awarded. They're not just purchased. And we encourage our potential franchise partners to work with a consultant and really understand the brand, go through the due diligence process, and try to get educated on the brand.
Very much so like a marriage. So let's talk about the prenup, also known as the FDD, with this. But tell us then, what does the investment look like for both a single owner operator, and then also let's talk a little bit about the regional one too. So can you tell us about what we could expect with just a single territory owner operator model?
Well, our single territory, the franchise fee is $60,000. I would say the investment with working capital is you're going to be in for around $200,000, okay, for a location. That's to be safe, a little more, a little less. For the regional developer, it's much bigger. I mean, it's going to be several $100,000 for that. But the reward also in proportion, because with our regional developer, they help us support, recruit, and train within their states or territories. And for that, we split half the royalty with them. So they get 50% of the upside as well. There's only so many states. There's only so many regional developers. We're very selective with those, more so than we are with regular franchisees. But we have a wide variety. So depending on what your budget is, if you just are dabbling into franchising or you want to be an empire builder, we can accommodate you either way.
So for those on the fence right now, trying to decide, like, man, would I want to pursue more of single territory, or could I fit that regional developer model? Or do you have any specific, or anything you could share with us that is distinguishing between the two? What are maybe some of the skill sets or experiences that a regional developer needs to have as opposed to just a single owner operator?
Jared, that's a brilliant question. A regional developer needs to have coaching ability. Okay, they are a coach. They're coaching their team. They have to have a strong business acumen, and they have to have a drive to succeed and develop a market, and they have to share and support corporate's vision. Because what happens is they are a representation of our corporate team for that particular state or that region.
So from that, then if we were to go back to the single owner operator. What does support for a single owner operator look like from you guys through the life of your agreement?
Well, we do complete operations and marketing support at the corporate level. They'll get that. We have 2 tiers of support. This makes this system so unique.
2 tiers.
If you are a prime franchisee, non-regional developer, you're supported at your state, or like if you're in Philly, regional developer would be Philly, at that market level by your regional developer, and you are supported by corporate. So there's 2 tiers of support. So it's like having 2 parachutes, and we will not let them fail. I mean, and we also support our regional developers. If there's any need that they have, we're there to support them as well.
Do you help the regional developer with any kind of lead generation, or is that entirely on them, or how does that work?
Well, that's a great question as well. What we do is, one, Rhino 7 will continue to sell the prime franchisees within those markets for the regional developer.
Yep.
And the regional developer will also after they learn the business, they're required to spend $1,500 a month digitally or organically to develop within their own market. But Rhino's going to continue to sell as well. So they have 2 channels feeding their region, because our goal is for that regional developer to develop that market as quickly as possible so they can get the highest return as well.
Yeah, love that. Can you tell us a little bit about I know you guys are just getting started. Honestly, we're really just getting started.
We are at the beginning. The baby's just born.
It's so exciting. It really is. Do you have any, with just the handful that you have already, any success stories of current franchisees or anyone that's coming into the fold that you're really excited about, or anyone you can highlight for us?
I can tell you right now, I think this would be a good point to talk about our founder, Patrick. And I can tell one, it's kind of interesting. I took his course. He had put a course together on how to start a fence company. So I said, let me take this course, because I said, I'll open one of these and franchise it, because I understood the model.
Sure.
And the franchise model. So what happened is me and him connected, and he said, why are you asking me so many questions? So then we connected, we became friends, and he said, why don't you franchise me? And I loved his story. He was looking to get a fence installed for his house. So he thought he'd do lead generation for fence companies, and they'd give him a free fence. But he had so much business coming through, because he's an SEO and digital marketing expert, that he ended up hiring subcontractors to install those the fences that came in off those leads. So he's never installed a fence, and he put together a great skeleton. And what we did was we put all the processes, the policies, the procedures, the marketing, the body around the skeleton. And this guy, per our item 19, year 3, I mean, I think he's $1.4 million and change, with a 22.5% net after all franchise loads, never installing a fence.
Over 20% net. Holy smokes. That's great margin, especially in the home service space.
That's why I was crazy. Like, this is a phenomenal opportunity. And, if our franchisees compare it to other stuff, they'll see that for themselves.
Right. Is there anything else about I know you mentioned the item 19, anything in there, anything else you want to highlight for us as we consider? Because at the end of the day, right, everyone is going to ask you every single time, hey, I like the model, I like the support, but will I make money from it? Will I succeed? Will this be fruitful? Is there anything else that item 19 you want to highlight for us?
Well, I can tell you, if you're not carrying any inventory, right? The inventory's dropped at the job. Okay. So there's no inventory.
Yeah. So you don't need to lease a space where you're holding on to a whole bunch of stuff.
No, and if you're an owner operator, you can do it out of your house initially, right? You can do it out of your home. If you're part-time or regional, you need a small industrial space. There's so much that drops to the bottom line here, because we use the subcontractor model. I mean, if you look at it compared to other home service fencing, the transaction value is huge, and the EBITDA is also large, because there's not a lot to it. It is truly a digital marketing play, but customer service and white glove service is at the core of what we do.
And that obviously comes from the heartbeat of the founder. The lead generation is literally how this business got started. I love that. Last question before we wrap up, Ed. If someone is literally just kind of wavering and not sure what to do with this, they're intrigued, they potentially want to hear more, but they might still go shopping around a little bit. Why should an elite entrepreneur, an empire builder, consider 76 Fence over any of your competitors?
Because we have the best regional developer program in the country at this point in time. What I'm saying is, unless you got to go to janitorial or something else, but I mean, in pure service, these programs that we've put together, regional developers, unheard of.
Yep,
so if they want to see a really unique diamond, they should look at this, because what happens is most franchisors will not share that royalty. My belief is that we put strong people. I've had people come into my office or that I've met that have been CEOs of global companies, having thousands of employees underneath them. And they've come to us because of our regional developer offering, because there's nothing like that in the marketplace. And they tell me that. And they said, why did you create it? And I said, the reason I created it is because to get people like you in front of us, because how we create a winning championship team is by getting the best players. And you don't attract those players by onesies and twosies. And you know that.
Yep. That's so good. That's spot on. And I think you're exactly right. I can only think of one other brand that we've had on Fran Opps Live that offers a regional developer model, but they're a QSR fast food option. And there's a lot of overhead. It's property. There's a lot that goes into that too. So this is highly unique in the service offerings that are given to you guys.
And the average transaction value being $8,000 plus. This is not like selling a smoothie for $10.
You got to sell a lot of smoothies to get to that point. So
right, absolutely.
Yeah, holy smokes. That's great. The opportunity is, bountiful, friends. And so if you are intrigued by this and you want to get started, just see if you're a good fit for them and this is a good fit for you. And if you're territory, we'll start with territory. We'll start with all those things. Type in 2024 in the chat and we'll get started. This doesn't sign your name to anything. This is not saying, yes, I'm going to be a 76 Fence franchisee. It's just saying, tell me more. And so if that's you, type 2024 in the chat and we'll get started today. Send us a message. We'll reach out and get the conversation going with you and just see if this might be a good fit. If it is, we'll get you connected as early as tomorrow with Ed's team or with Rhino 7 and continue on the discovery process.
Yeah, Jared, I encourage anybody to go through you because if they go through you, they'll get the VIP treatment. We'll put them right to the front of the line.
100%. Absolutely. And you guys in Fran Opps know that if working with me, we're going to put together one of the highest quality referrals of you in such a way that with 76 Fence or with any brand, you're going to go, hey, this is your next MVP. This is the VIP. You need to talk to them. And here's why. That's going to be the case if we find the right fit for you. I believe that could be 76 Fence for many of you watching today. So type 2024 in the chat. We'll get started. I'm excited for your future. I'm excited for the future of 76 Fence. Super honored that you would share a little bit of your time with us today, man. I appreciate it.
Jared, thank you and have a blessed day.
Yeah, you too as well. All right, friends. Until then, next week we have, this is going to be unique. Next week, we're going to bring on BAI, Business Alliance Incorporated. They are actually the network that Fran Opps is affiliated with. They are our brokerage that they kind of put all of our franchisors through this high quality vetting process to determine who's going to be in our portfolio and who's not. What's unique about this opportunity is that we bring on franchisors, we bring on franchisees. So for those of you in this group who are franchisors, you represent a franchise, this is going to be one for you to hop on. You're going to want to make sure you are on next week's Fran Opps Live as we bring on the CEO, Brandon Clifford of BAI, to talk about what it looks like to be a franchisor in the BAI network. What does that investment look like? What do you get out of the deal? All those kinds of things. We're going to unpack all that. So that's next week, same time, same place. Until then, I'm Jared, and I'll see you guys another time. Have a good one.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with anyone who's ready to take that next step in franchise ownership. For more resources and personalized franchise guidance, visit us online at businessallianceinc.com. Let's help you franchise your future. See you next time.